I remember when we recorded Armistice Day, we put out an advertisement with it, which had a Bren gun, and the ad went, what sort of mindless cretin can disassemble this Bren gun within 5 minutes? Is this you? And this was an army ad. So 10 years later, Forgotten Years came in the same spirit of the horror of war, which provoked Armistice Day, but specifically directed towards our diggers, who have been dragged into so many wars overseas. And as we speak, of course, we're being dragged into another conflict, and our boys once again have been dragged off to the Middle East in the same way that our great-grandfathers were dragged off to the Sudan, to the Boer War, or to the Palestine and North Africa in the First and Second World Wars, and this time once again without consultation. So perhaps a song like Short Memory was relevant as well. Forgotten Years follows in the same realm as those two songs, and the film clip was done in a military cemetery in Verdun, which was the site of one of the world's greatest holocausts. I think about 750,000 young men and women died in a single protracted battle, which was only terminated by the calling of the armistice on the 11th of the 11th. And the rows of white crosses that you see in the American cemetery in that clip are dated the 5th of November, the 6th of November. In other words, they were dying right up until the last bugle was called. And this shameless, horrific loss of life, we felt deserved a song like Forgotten Years from a band that, like so many other people, have this fear and horror of such a catastrophe happening again. And I guess there was a personal interest from my own point of view, because my grandfather had fought with the 4th Pioneers in the First World War just up the road at the Somme, and he'd survived to fight once again in the Second World War. My father had fought in the Second World War, and my wife's grandfather is buried at Verdun. So there was a personal significance to the song as well. As a matter of fact, we didn't actually end up seeing the Australian cemetery there, but for anyone that's travelled through the continent knows that vast areas of each town are devoted to cemeteries of real war. And this is, coming back to Australia, is one of the great things about this country, is never having had enemies marching up the beaches of Bondi. I mean, obviously there were bomb attacks in Darwin and a few mini-subs in Sydney Harbour, but we have been spared them, and we have this incredible lifestyle and easygoing environment for it. But once again, Hussein calls, Bush gets on the telephone, and we're back involved again.
Few are the sins of the father.